You'll notice as well that the executables that we run using the system function have to be available to the operating system. So for instance, the CP program, which would work on a Unix system, wouldn't work on a Windows system, and the copy program that we're running here wouldn't work if we tried to run it within a Unix environment. So we should be aware when we're working with executable files that as soon as we start using specific programs, we have to have those programs accessible on the system in which we run. One of the advantages of using Perl, or most other scripting languages, is that they are largely operating system independent. We can run Perl on a Windows machine, or a Macintosh, or Unix, or any of a very wide variety of different operating systems, and they will all pretty much, in terms of the basic functionality, operate in a similar way. However, as soon as we start getting into running other programs, then those programs have to be available on the file system, and we have to invoke them in a way that is consistent with the syntax requirements of the operating system shell. So we need to be aware that when we start getting into using executable files, we have to be careful if we want our scripts to remain platform independent. Here is an example of Perl asking the operating system to run a certain program. In this case, it's the PS program, and it's quite a complicated little call. It's actually piping the results through the grep program. We won't be looking at what those do exactly, where effectively all we're doing here is we're getting a list of processes where the word root is contained. So effectively what we're doing is we're looking for all processes that are being run as root. Once again, Perl doesn't care about the syntax of the system, the argument that's been given to the system function. It's the operating system that will deal with it. What's different about this line is that we're actually setting a scalar variable, and we're giving the value that's returned by the system function to the value of the variable. So the result scalar variable will now contain a string with all of the processes that were found when that particular system function was executed. Here's an example of running another Perl script from within the Perl system function. There's no reason we can't use one Perl script to run another. There are better ways of combining your Perl scripts to make them work with each other. There's no reason technically why you can't run one Perl script using another. We would have to be sure that either under a Windows system the file association was correct in order to correctly identify the .pl script, or under a non-Windows file system we'd have to determine that the shebang line had been included properly at the first line of another .pl, so that the Perl executable would be invoked and the script would be interpreted and run correctly. However, the system function is a very simple way of accessing exterior resources from outside of our Perl scripts.